The Prime Minister today inaugurated the 6.5 kilometer long Z-Morh tunnel, which has now been renamed as the Sonamarg tunnel. It's a critical infrastructure project in Jammu and Kashmir. It connects Gangagir with Sonamarg, which is a crucial link on the Srinagar-Leh highway, thus making this critical link between two parts of the Union territory into an all-weather road. At the inauguration, the new Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, heaped praises on Prime Minister Modi. He said Prime Minister Modi has promised elections within 4 months, and that was done. Similarly, he now wants the promise of full statehood to be restored. Now, this, of course, has sent a bit of cat amongst the pigeons, if you will. Some of the India alliance partners have gone into a bit of a tizzy because Omar Abdullah has been stridently anti-BJP and anti-Modi. So what explains his public praise of the Prime Minister? Is it realpolitik? Is it the fact that in a union territory like Jammu and Kashmir, no matter which political dispensation you belong to or which side of the political spectrum you hail from, you have no choice but to work with the centre? So was it a reflection of pragmatic politics, or is this a sign of shifting political sands? Also, the bigger picture is that today India is putting more money, more muscle, more infrastructure power at the very same place which used to be a haven of terrorism up until a few years ago. In fact, just at this very same place in Gangagir, where the Z-Morh tunnel begins from, just 3 months ago, back in October, there was a terror attack in which 7 construction labourers lost their lives. Today, the Prime Minister made it a point to meet some of the construction labourers who were part of the completion of the Z-Morh tunnel project. Is a clear message being sent to the terrorists and to their backers who are on the other side of the border.
अस्पताल बन रहे हैं, कॉलेज बन रहे हैं, यही तो नया जम्मू कश्मीर है। इसके लिए ही हमारी सरकार सबका साथ, सबका विकास की भावना के साथ पूरे समर्पण से दिन रात काम कर रही है।
जो जम्मू कश्मीर में तरक्की, अमन, जमहूरियत को कायम होते हुए नहीं देखना चाहते, वो कभी भी कामयाब नहीं हो सकते। उनको हमेशा यहां हार का सामना करना पड़ेगा।
%60 of terrorists eliminated were of Pakistan origin. As of today, whatever is remnant in the valley and Jammu area, we feel that around 80% or more are from Pakistan origin.
All right, it's an all-weather road, a big boost to infrastructure, and of course, Omar's comments are leading to some political speculation. But more importantly, the big picture is Jammu and Kashmir on the path to Vikas, on the path to development, and is that causing consternation across the border? Let's try and put that to our panelists who are joining us. Big panel tonight. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. Tausif Shah is spokesperson of the PDP. Imran Nabi Dar is spokesperson of the National Conference Party, and Lieutenant General retired Sanjay Kulkarni is former DG Infantry of the Indian Army. So on this tunnel itself between Gangagir and Sonamarg, it's a 6.5 kilometer tunnel. Sanju Verma, 2,400 crores. It's a vital link in the highway between Srinagar and Leh. Access to Ladakh, reducing travel time and travel risk. And of course, because it's an all-weather road, it opens up Sonamarg for winter tourism. And yet, some people, both in the opposition here as well as others, are saying that you took 12 years to complete this. This idea was floated way back in 2012. We're now in 2025. It's 12, 13 years to build this road.
You know, Zaka, I think the opposition has started behaving like खिसियानी बिल्ली. वो जो हिंदी में कहावत है खिसियानी बिल्ली खंबा नोचे. And there's a famous saying, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I think the Narendra Modi government is quite acclimatized to the demeanor of the opposition, which sees politics in just about everything, even in matters of governance. And I just want to tell your audience a couple of things. You remember the Chenani Nashri tunnel, called the Syama Prasad Mukherjee tunnel, that was started in 2011. It was completed by the Modi government in 2017. More importantly, do you remember the Chena Bridge? It was started when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister way back in 2002. It was completed after 2 decades in 2022, thanks to the willpower and determination of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Do you remember the Banihal Pass? It remained dormant for more than 2 decades, brought to fruition by the Modi government. Do you remember the fact that when everybody said elections to Jammu Kashmir mein kabhi hongi hi nahi, within 4 months of making his promise, peaceful elections were not only conducted, but in places like Riyasi, Rajouri, Poonch, Gandarbal, you had voter turnout of more than 65%, the highest ever in post-independent India. Do you know that today the average footfall of tourists post the abrogation of Article 370, every year, roughly 1.6 crore, 16 million tourists travel to Jammu Kashmir. Okay. And more importantly, after 30 years, you had cinema halls 2 years back, which opened in Jammu Kashmir. You had the Tiranga flying at the Lal Chowk in Srinagar for the first time after 30 years in 2022. Today, people can sing Jana Gana Mana, Vande Matram without fear of fervor in the Kashmir Valley. So the opposition training its guns at Prime Minister Modi is a classic case of not being able to do anything and finding fault in what the Modi government does simply because of their visceral hatred for Narendra Modi.
Imran Nabi Dar, so is that the reason why your leader and the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. Omar Abdullah, was today heaping praises on the Prime Minister? He said, and I quote, you said 3 very important things during your program in Srinagar. You said that you're working on eliminating Dil ki Duri and Dilli ki Duri, and this has been proven by your work. He went on to say that you had promised the people of Jammu and Kashmir elections very soon and they will get a chance to choose their government. You kept your word and within 4 months, elections were held. What do we make of this?
Yeah, and then he said another thing that is the most important thing that the whole Jammu and Kashmir is waiting for is the promise that was made by the Honorable Prime Minister just before the assembly elections. Actually, in one of his election speeches in Srinagar, where he said that as soon as the assembly elections are over, Jammu and Kashmir will get its statehood back. So, being the Chief Minister of the state, I mean, it is his duty to accord the welcome that the Prime Minister deserves, and Omar Saab was within his rights and to actually make these comments and praise Prime Minister on his.
You're saying there's no political undertone to it, no political meanings to be read into it.
You have to understand one thing. National Conference is not in alliance. We are not in an alliance with BJP. A Chief Minister praising Prime Minister highlights the federal structure of the country. It doesn't make. I mean, why are we reading scripts into it? It's a normal practice, normal way. In every state it happens. So, but what we are saying is that now that Prime Minister Modi Saab has already fulfilled 2 important promises, our Chief Minister has reminded the Prime Minister that it is time for him, for the party, for BJP, to fulfill another important promise, which is the restoration of statehood.
Full statehood. We'll see. I mean, that's a promise that the Prime Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, have all said. We'll see what the timeline for that is. Very quickly, before I go to Tausif Shah, because he has a very different take, his party has a very different take on Omar Saab's comments about the Prime Minister today. But very quickly, the reason why people are juxtaposing this is with what Omar Saab said just last week, where he said, what is the point of the India alliance if the whole point was just to come together for the Lok Sabha elections and then hibernate for the next 5 years, then dismantle it, get rid of it. He said this just last week. So people are contrasting that to what he said today about the Prime Minister.
No, but Zaka, you have to understand one thing. He made that comment in a particular context. He was asked, there was a specific question asked, what is the role of India Alliance in future? He specifically said that after the parliament election, there has been no meeting called. So he has specifically asked that India Alliance needs to call out a meeting, needs to call all the alliance members, and they need to take the strategy forward. I mean, he has made that comment in a particular context. We should not take quotes
Okay.
just because
Fair
just
enough.
because
So,
it's
Tausif Shah, the point is that it is normal practice for chief ministers to give credit to the central government and the prime minister where credit is due. And Omar Saab has not said anything that is out of place. That's the contention by the National Conference spokesperson. Your party has gone on and said, and I believe Iltija Mufti has said, that this is almost like bending over backwards. Why? What's wrong if a chief minister praises a prime minister where credit is due? Isn't that an example of, as Mr. Dar said, cooperative federalism?
Yeah. First of all, I just like to welcome and say good evening to all my fellow panelists. So, and to you, Jacob, also a very, very good evening. The first point I'd like to make is just to clear Madam Sanju Verma. She has some wrong information about the elections being held in J&K. I would like to clear that, as she said the point, that this is for the first time in the post-independent India that there's so much high election turnout has been there. I would like to clear her that in 2002 there was approximately 48%. In 2008 there was 61%. And then in 2014, the highest was 65% voter turnout. So if you can see, now in the 2024, we had only 58. So it's very a vague statement to make from such a reputed and respected spokesperson of the BJP that she says that this is for the first time. This is very highest voter turnout in the state of J&K. Anyways, now I'd like to come to the point. The point is not that Chief Minister, our Honorable Chief Minister, he's speaking, he's somehow praising Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has to do it, but the main thing is that, you see, we have the problem. The CM is not speaking on the problem. Nothing would be achieved by giving the shawls and simply praising. You need to do some work. It's already, you're nearing 100 days of your government. You have not, we don't even have the full power in state. While we remember that when we got into the power in 2002, in 2014, we immediately started we have a small power project which we started immediately, which needs money to get started. So they could not even start that Pampur gas turbine. This is the highest apathy we can have. Then second thing is that we were waiting that CM would strongly commit that we need statehood, or we need statehood. We need Article 370.
He said that in the very same breath that now we hope that you keep the same promise of full statehood also.
We have seen that the CM said himself that we are not going to speak for Article 370 because this is the same BJP who has taken it. So we need to ask our CM, then why did he fight the election on the name of 370? Then he should have said that we'll go for the statehood, not for the 370.
No, but on statehood, your criticism is that he's not taking up statehood. But in that same speech, within the next few sentences, he said that we now hope the Prime Minister keeps his promise of full statehood for Jammu and Kashmir.
Now, what we mean to say is that why doesn't he speak about 370? Statehood would come out automatically with it. He has promised the people of Jammu and Kashmir, he got a brute mandate, approximately 46 to 47 seats. Okay. In the alliance, they got approximately 54 seats. It is such a brute alliance. Why are they not speaking about Article 370? Statehood would come automatically in Article 370. Why are they just simply focusing on the statehood?
Let me get the expert view in this. General Kulkarni is also joining us. I think the big picture, we need to sort of pivot to the big picture, General Kulkarni, and that is, in the last 5 years, since 2019, investment in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly in infrastructure projects, has gone up 10 times to 4,500 crores. There are more than 1,057 roads and bridges, which are worth about 4,500 crores. Almost 300 bridges are have been sanctioned to be constructed, worth somewhere near 800 to 1,000 crores. The total number of completed infra projects in Jammu and Kashmir in 2018 was 9,200. In 23-24, the total number of completed infra projects in Jammu and Kashmir is 92,000. The big picture is this. There was a time when we were saying, oh, China is doing all the infrastructure building, we are 20 years behind them, 30 years behind them. Given how critical as a border Union Territory J&K is, and given its very deeply violent history, this is exactly what everyone had been pushing the government of India to do, and it's being done over the last 5 years.
Thank you, Zaka. Good evening and happy Lohri to all the viewers. And I must say, on a very, very auspicious occasion, the inauguration of the Sonamarg tunnel itself, having been all over these places, I must tell you, the kind of development that is taking place in J&K is absolutely a game changer. There is just no denying the fact. You drive down in Jammu, you go from Jammu to Udhampur, from Udhampur to Srinagar, from Srinagar to Sonamarg, and of course, once the Zojila tunnel is through, right to Ladakh, the roads in Ladakh per se, fantastic, unbelievable. I think the investments must be to the tune of nothing less than about $17 billion that have been spent on infrastructure in the state of J&K. And out of the 31 tunnels that were expected, about 21 in J&K, another 11 in Ladakh. All of this, there is a sea change. You can see, you can feel it. You can criticize. You can keep criticizing till cows come home. But the fact is, you've got to see it on ground. And when you see things on ground, so much of development taking place, so much of tourism taking place, so much of positivity among the people, Lal Chowk bubbling with energy, national flags flying all over. You see at Dal Lake, you go to the movie hall, you talk to the people, you see the shops, all of them full, you see the vibrant faces, go to all these gardens, you see people full. I think there's a sea change. Let's accept.
But General, the criticism is that, and even the army chief alluded to that today, saying that 60% of the terrorists who've been killed in Jammu and Kashmir are of Pakistan origin. Just 3 months ago, in October, at this very same place at Gagangir, there was a terrorist attack in which 7 construction laborers who were part of the team that was building this tunnel, they were killed. So what's really changed on that front?
See, Zaka, look at the statement that has been made by the chief. 60% of the terrorists killed are Pakistanis, and the balance of them, 80% are Pakistanis. What does that indicate? That the Pakistanis now have to come inside the state of J&K to create chaos. The people of J&K have realized they don't want to be a part of it. And at Gagangir, even there are 7 people who died. One of them was a local doctor. 6 of them were non-locals. Irrespective of all that, all these kind of the efforts being made by Pakistan, which uses terrorism as an instrument of state policy to be able to keep doing what it wants to do in J&K. The people of J&K hopefully have realized that it's not worth it to be part of terrorism. It's so much better to be part of development. It's so much better. Schools, colleges, engineering colleges, medical colleges, the works that are going on there, you talk to the people, you see the kind of entry into IAS, IPS everywhere of the people from the state of J&K. It makes world of a difference. So I think every man must feel proud.
Sanju Verma, the question that's being asked is, even though the number of terror incidents has come down, today what the chief said, that 60% of the terrorists killed in Jammu and Kashmir are of Pak origin. So really, in terms of a policy of bleeding India by 1,000 cuts, which Pakistan adopted way back in the 80s, that continues. And whatever you have done in the last 5 years or 10 years, abrogation of 370, etc., the promises of statehood elections, none of that seems to change the fact that the terrorism problem has not been uprooted from Jammu and Kashmir, including in what happened in Gagangir 3 months ago.
Zaka, I'll answer your question, but there was an allegation made against me and I can't allow that to go unchecked. The PDP spokesperson should know that I never speak without the hard facts at my disposal. And I repeat, I was not giving out average voter turnout numbers. I named specific areas and I repeat for the benefit of your viewers, 74.14% was the voter turnout in Riyasi. Poonch was 73.78%. Rajouri was 69.85%. Budgam was 61.31%. Gandarbal was 62.63%. Please don't heckle me. Please don't heckle me. I did not heckle you, sir. Please don't heckle me.
Kasif, one second. Let her finish. Let her finish.
Yes. So I repeat, in some of these areas, the voter turnout was the highest in post-independent India. Please go and check the Election Commission website before throwing reckless allegations at me. Point number 1. Point number 2, I agree. Does more, need to be done in terms of uprooting terrorism completely? Yes. But have we achieved a lot in the last 5 years, especially after abrogation of Article 370? Yes. And once again, I'm quoting data that Amit Shah gave at numerous conclaves, including yours, where he said that post the abrogation of Article 370, there has been 100% decline in stone pelting incidents. There has been a 69% decline in terror incidents. There has been an 82% decline in civilian casualties, and there has been a 44% decline in the casualties of armed personnel. Point number 3, and more importantly, I always say that when you bring a region to normalcy, that is the first step towards uprooting terrorism in its entirety. And I think the fact that today, at the peak of COVID second wave, you had 3,000 kilometers of highways built in Jammu Kashmir alone. The fact that you have 7 central medical colleges that are up and running or in advanced stages of fruition. The fact that you have an IIT and IIM in Jammu. The fact that you have 2 AIIMS, one in Avantipura and one in Jammu. The fact that Ranjana Desai's recommendations with respect to delimitation were followed to the T, and we've also provided for 24 seats for POK. I think all these measures will eventually result in terrorism being completely uprooted from the valley, but it will take time because, as they say, Rome was not built in a day. And I think what we've achieved thus far is a change in mindset. Don't forget, Zaka, that a couple of years back, when Burhan Wani died, the same PDP's leader, Mehbooba Mufti, said, "Oh, Burhan Wani to bechara ek, गरीब हेडमास्टर का बेटा था, उसे भला एनकाउंटर करके मारने की क्या जरूरत थी?" So you're Mehbooba Mufti, and you are the last people who should be lecturing the BJP on integrity.
Tausif Shah, this is as per the data submitted by the MHA to a parliamentary panel as recently as November 2024. 70% decline in terror incidents in Jammu and Kashmir. In 2020, it was 111. In 2021, it was 95. 2022, it was 65. In 2023, it was 15. And in 2024, up until November of 2024, it was just 5 instances of terror in the calendar year of 2024 up until November 2024. To say that nothing has happened in Jammu and Kashmir, 370, this is what has changed after abrogation of 370. At least that's what the BJP's contention is. Mr. Shah.
Let me come on it.
You're on mute.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go on. I can hear you now, yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, go on.
Okay. I would just like to come back with that statistics, what you're telling me that there are just 5 incidents in the valley or the state of Jammu and Kashmir, state of the Jammu and Kashmir. No, it's not true.
So this is what MHA has said. This is not my data. This is what MHA has said.
No, I can understand it, but you can say that we read the newspapers every day. We have the local news agencies giving the news. Everybody has, like Delhi has. So after every 3 or 4 days, there was an encounter somewhere going on in Rajouri, somewhere in Poonch, somewhere in Kulgam, somewhere in Gandarbal, somewhere in Srinagar. So this cannot be possible. So you please check your statistics. There should be not less than, there have been in the last approximately, since the abrogation, there have been approximately 675 militant incidents, out of which approximately there have been 100 incidents in the year of 2024. Please check it. Maybe I am wrong, but this is the news what we every now and then our newspapers are telling lies. Then our news, whatever the news agencies we have, they're lying. If you are saying that there have been only 5 incidents, there have been not.
Like I said, this is not my data. This is the data that's been shared by the Ministry of Home Affairs to a parliamenary panel on this. I can send the link to you.
I accept it.
But the point is this. The point is this: that on the one hand, you have the reduction of terror incidents as is being claimed, and also on the other hand, as General Kulkarni says, there is visible infrastructure development in Kashmir. You can't deny that.
I would like to hand-foldedly just one question for our army chief, that if they accept that there are approximately 60% militants who have been killed have been infiltrating from Pakistan, the Pakistani nationals. So why are they not able to stop the infiltration? We are looking towards them to stop it. We are not waiting here to look at the statistics that 70% come from Pakistan, 90% come from Pakistan. So the railway line which they have started, which they have announced that which is going to start from January 25th or January 26th,
Yeah.
we have to deboard the rail at Katra station. We have to change the train. We have to come down, new security checkups, everything new. This is because they're projecting, on the one hand, they're projecting that Jammu Kashmir is becoming normal. We are connected it with the rail. Then on the second term, they are showing that we don't believe the people of Kashmir.
Okay.
We are checking them again. we have to check them once again. We have
General, to respond to that, if indeed terror has come down, then why is the army chief saying 60% of
just give me
kill terrorists are of Pakistan origin? The whole point is to stop them from infiltrating from Pakistan.
Zaka, infiltration can't be stopped 100%. Firstly, despite the fencing, the weather. Secondly, the people of J&K themselves, some amongst them are an aberration who are guarding them, protecting them and giving them the logistic support. Even from the conversations you can make out, there ought to be pride in that you are an Indian. You cannot possibly be saying that, look, Pakistan is doing this. They themselves, until and unless the locals feel themselves good, it's not worth it. Those political parties per se must ensure that they must take the people along. They must build and inspire the people for the works that have been done and not constantly be talking, look, Article 370, look, these are the people who put into their heads those seeds of discrimination. They will have to realize that all the good lies with them. It is for them to come forward and do it. Now imagine if you were to ask, why is the infiltration stopping? We are not the ones that are doing. There are militants coming. There are terrorist actions taking place. That's wrong. I would ask the political parties, what are they doing? What are they doing to win the hearts and minds of the people who are getting them to elect?
Mr. Dar, final word. The question that Mr. Shah asked you also, during the campaign, you talked about 370. After the campaign, you seem to have dropped 370. Now Omar Abdullah is talking only about statehood. And also this whole point that if terror has indeed come down, then at least will you acknowledge that yes, 370 was an impediment to terror coming down, and ever since it's been abrogated, terror has come down?
No, I mean, there are multiple questions, so I think you need to give me some time to answer that. As far as PDP's accusation is concerned regarding we have dropped demand for restoration of Article 370, I think my answer is pretty clear about it. When you asked the PDP spokesperson that you reminded him that Umar Saab did mention about restoration of statehood, he immediately changed his tone and he suddenly asked for Article 370. The problem with PDP is that they are not able to digest the mandate that National Conference has got. They are not able to digest the defeat that they have been given.
No, we've already digested it.
I didn't interfere. There is no point interfering. Excuse me, sir. I have not interfered.
Okay. I really have to wrap up. I'm completely out of time on this one. But Mr. Dar, very quickly on the point that you don't seem to be talking about 370 anymore.
No, but National Conference government has clearly passed a resolution asking for restoration of special status. Our panelists on the debate understand what special status means. So I don't think we need any justification or clarification to give.
All right, Sanju, a final word. 10 seconds after wrap up. I need to go to the next debate after this, please.
Thank you, Zaka. Zaka, I just want to say one thing. The PDP was wiped out. Imagine out of 90 seats in Jammu Kashmir assembly elections, they won just 3. That is a measly strike rate of 3.33%. Even if I take the Muslim-dominated Kashmir Valley of 47 seats, in all you got 3 seats. That still is a strike rate of 6.38%. Your Iltija Mufti, the daughter of Mehbooba Mufti, lost from Biji Behara. For the first time in 22 years, the PDP lost that seat. Mehbooba Mufti lost from Anantnag Rajouri in Lok Sabha 2024. और आप यहाँ बैठकर बीजेपी को भाषण देते हैं? Look within yourself, wake up and smell the coffee. Don't give bhashan to BJP.
I want to move on since we are talking elections. Let's focus on the next one. Thank you very much to all our panelists on debate 1.